What's good, man? Anson WAV, Anson Wave. Back on it again, man. Another video every day. A little bit of a longer video, I think, today. But you want to talk about trends, trendsetters, trend makers, trend snobs, honestly. Obviously, making all this content, I'm trying so hard not to get into these comments with people and clap back. I'm just trying to be positive and not even feed into all the trolls or whatever, man. But something I think is funny, been talking about it. A lot of my content's been food. I think I'm going to talk about more of some of the things I wear, some of the things I collect or whatever in some videos. But more recently, I had a bunch of people tell me about this food spot that's been around forever. I've never been there. I used to live in San Leandro and never went to this place. So I went. A couple homies told me. I went viral from another TikTok from someone else. So homies were sending me that. I'm like, man, all right, let's check it out. So I went. It was great. Did a little review. And then one of the comments was just like, oh, this place has been here for 25 years. Cool. You know what I mean? You're going to discover stuff at all times, and I realized I would do that sometimes too when I was younger. Still do it, but, somebody will be up on some song that came out, or some song will go viral, and I'm like, man, this song came out 20 years ago, whatever it is. Why are they into that? Or the kids wearing, for a little while, the baggier jeans, jean shorts, the baggier look in general, a lot of the 90s stuff, nostalgic for me, but brand new to them, and when I was younger, I was like, man, what do you guys know about this and wooty woo? And I'm like, man, this is a younger generation. Of course, they don't know more than me about these things, or they're just discovering it. And why are we even yucking that yum that they're discovering things, Same thing with music, especially growing up, loving hip hop. My uncles, especially would be like, oh, what's this song? You don't know about this. You need to know the original, because obviously hip hop is huge into sampling and things like that. But it's just like, man, I pivoted from all that, man. I'm like, why are you mad about people discovering stuff? You know what I'm saying? Instead of using this as a time for me to be like, oh, I've been knowing about this. I've been wearing Carhartt beanies. I've been, whatever, wearing these sneakers. I was a sneakerhead before it was reselling, when I could just walk into a store and grab Jordans or grab Nikes or whatever, you know what I mean? But why worry about it? The only thing I don't like about the trends is the gatekeeping or the accessibility to things. I hated when everyone got into sneakers, not because more people were collecting, but because I couldn't get what I wanted, so that's the one negative I'm not a huge fan of with anything. But that's what happens. It's big with Pokemon cards again, with sports cards having a moment again, but people collecting things or whatever, or food businesses. Another one, back in the day, my homie in LA told me about a taco spot out there, and then maybe a year later, Netflix or someone did a show, or maybe it was an article, whatever, but it was top taco spots in LA. And then after that, it was almost impossible to go because everybody was there now. But I'm like, man, and it's just a symptom of things getting hyped and catching fire, so I'm not really mad about it anymore. It does suck. That's my one thing, is the accessibility, but we should be sharing these things. And another comment in another video, I was like, oh, this is probably the most famous spot in Oakland, a taco truck. And people are like, oh, it's by far not the most famous, or it's not famous, I've never heard of it. And like, man, it has the most reviews on Yelp. I know that's not the biggest source, but I mean, it hands down has the most reviews and check-ins and all that. And I'm like, that's what I'm going by. And also, this place was featured on a show that featured Oakland. So yeah, it's the most famous. I didn't say it's the best. I didn't say it's the only one, And then, like I said, I got comments like that, like, oh, I've never heard of it. I'm like, well, first of all, who the fuck are you? And then second of all, maybe go check it out now. You know what I mean? There's places I don't know of. I think I'm up on things. I, love to create a wave, but you can always learn, man. And that was just funny. Another guy was just like, and I'm venting on here because I don't really want to be negative on my comments back to these fools. I'm not trying to clap back, like I said, but another comment was like, there's so many better options than this place. And I'm like, so should I not support another local business? You know what I mean? Are they not good? It's just funny to me. These comments, like I said, people just want to make comments, I think, to feel, I don't know, vindicated about their opinions on things. And the same way, I guess, me, I'm trying to get followers, likes, subscribes, whatever. But I'm not at all trying to say I know the best of anything. I'm just saying, hey, this is the day of my life I checked this place out. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I'm not getting paid for these reviews. I'm going to places, and I happen to travel a lot, and I'm able to check out new places. Another comment was like, I told the prices of a place, and they're like, oh, 4 items for this price and blah blah blah. Like, now I know not to go there. And like, man, it's like, if that's the only deciding factor for you is like how cheap things are, that's fine, but I'm like, I just don't understand what I'm supposed to do with that information, what I'm saying? Especially when you don't tell me where I should go, like the person that was like, oh, there's so many better options, not one option was given, what I'm saying? Like, not one place was advised. And it's like, I just don't understand what I'm gonna do with this comment, and that's what I think what goes back to, where people want to be like, oh, I was the first up on this, and I like I said, I fell into that trap a lot when I was younger, but I'm not. And you're not the first on it. Everything that's been done that you think is new has been done. So, we talked about that in a previous, shorts, where it's like, man, just go out there and do it, you know what I mean? But I just want to get on there, and that, it's like, I don't understand where people come off like that. And like, even me, people will see maybe some of the things I wear and be interested in the things I'm into. And I've had people like, oh man, you were into that before everybody was. You were the first one I seen. It's like, yeah, but I didn't invent that either, man. I'm older now, so I found what was comfortable for me and my style and my aesthetic, and fashion, style, everything is cyclical. So now I'm back on trend, and I just didn't change. I didn't maybe veer from a couple things. I've learned now, not really trying to follow trends. There's things that I like that maybe I didn't know about, and I didn't know about it the first time I was around. So now, because it's trendy again, I found out about it. So I'll go check it out, or maybe I didn't have the money or once they get accessibility to that thing. But now that I got bigger, and I'm learning so much, and I want to talk a little bit more about that, about my collecting habits and, being a sneakerhead and all that. I'm going to do a video about that. But it's just funny, man. Like, even with Labubu's, man, like, I thought it was funny. It was cool. I'm into nerdy shit. But then I'm like, man, I just be collecting and hoarding stuff for no reason. But I'm not mad at that, I think we need to have a shift in just how things are done in this country, in this world, as humans, and the waste we have. And I'm a big part of that, so I'm trying to learn too. Like I mentioned before, when I'm making designing shirts for some of the brands I have, I want to make it as sustainable as I can. The soap I sell, it's trying to be sustainable, but that's a little more off topic for now. But I think just writing trends, I have no problem with that, man. I'm not gatekeeping anything. If anyone ever wants to know where I got something, I'll tell them where it is. I'll tell them how much I got it for. It don't matter, I think it's a little weird when maybe they have the same exact style that you have after telling them. But once again, man, you're not the only person that dresses like that eats that thing, that does that hobby, that does that sport, that does that thing, man. And I think being more uplifting is what we need, like being more communal, and that's what sucks. A lot of these conventions went from being where these people that had these similar interests can go to now it's just all reselling and people doing it, and it sucks, man. It drains the culture out of it or whatever. And a lot of it's for videos and stuff like that, man. So I hope I don't get stuck in that. I can't, call it, man. But even with sneakers, I got rid of all of them pretty much, man. And I'll get into that later. But just coming here ranting, had some time to kill again, have another video to make again. We are doing a giveaway. We are far away from our goal of 500 YouTube subscribers, but we're on our way. I want to give away the Great Wave Lego set, but we got ways to go. But we're getting a lot of engagement. We're getting more comments, negative, positive, whatever. Mostly positive, man, so I appreciate it. Getting more shares on our videos, getting more likes or whatever. That's great. Stick with me, stick with us. Like I said, mid-January right now. We got plenty of more to go. But yeah, I appreciate everyone for tapping in. Thank you. We will be back. More giveaways, more followers, more subscribers, more content. Let's go.